The Cross Hags, or as they are commonly referred to, the Laughing Marines, are a supposedly loyalist successor chapter of the Imperial Fists that were created in secret some time after Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade in M41. Strangely, however, historical records trace their existence back to the 21st founding of M36. The records also show their participation in battles such as the Gothic War, the Damocles Crusade, and even the Third Tyrannic War, among others. This has confounded many a Space Marine chapter who vehemently contest claims of having seen the Cross Hags upon the fields of battle, much less fought alongside them. In truth, the reason for this discrepancy is that the official records have been tampered with by certain members of the Xenos Hybrids, a radical inquisitorial faction which believes in cooperating with Xenos races to survive the galaxy's myriad threats, namely chaos. In light of the 13th Black Crusade and the creation of the Cicatrix Maledictum, the Harlequins from Mask of the Veiled Path realized that they would need strong allies within the Imperium in order to prevail over chaos. After making contact with the Xenos Hybrids Inquisitors, they laid a trap and abducted almost a dozen members of the Imperial Fist's 9th Company, the Wardens. The abductees were placed in stasis chambers and taken deep into the Webway network. Despite being ordered not to attempt retrieval, the former company captain Messandros selected a chosen few in pursuit into the Webway, but not before he had passed on the mantle of leadership to Captain Cahiron. While many believe Messandros and the brothers lost to the warp, he was actually being led on a calculated chase through the Webway. At every turn, his fortitude, adaptability, and his very sanity were tested to their limits. Only when he had proved himself to be worthy of surpassing his trials, he was allowed to reach the end of the maze, the greatest repository of knowledge in the galaxy, the Black Library. There, Messandros was given a rare chance to glimpse into the intricate plan of the Laughing God, Chegorak, along with visions of the destruction of the Eldari, humanity, and the entire galaxy. Whereas such vast knowledge would have outright killed most people and even Astartes, thanks to their Imperial Fist resilience, Captain Messandros and his brothers were merely driven insane, albeit ones that recognized their place in the larger scheme. Thus, they were founded as a new chapter, the Cross Hags, whose purpose was to wield their broken minds like a weapon against the forces of chaos and the greater enemy that was coming. For to defeat an inconceivable foe, you yourself need to be equally inconceivable. The Cross Hags were created for the purpose of gathering all Crone Swords of Marai Heg, and they are currently in the process of tracking the 5th. The psychic effect of having glanced at the knowledge in the Black Library has twisted the gene seed of the Cross Hags. Their catalepsian node, responsible for avoiding fatigue, is overstimulated, making the Marines seem jittery and interfering with their impulse control. Because of this, chapter brothers are highly likely to die early compared to other chapters, as even their Astartes bodies cannot handle the strain of constant overstimulation. Medical reports show that the empathy centers in their brains have shrunk as a result. The mutation also causes them to burst out in fits of uncontrollable laughter and suffer from psychosis. Some battle brothers also suffer from a condition termed tears of solemnity, where the psychotic haze is suddenly lifted and an unexplained crippling grief sets in. The Marines who suffer from the condition cannot stop crying even as their tears are replaced by streams of blood. Chillingly, however, rather than give such brothers the Emperor's peace or attempt medical aid, the Cross Hags place such brothers in stasis until they can be presented at a chapter gathering, while the rest of Battle Brothers watch and laugh as the afflicted slowly die from blood loss. Unlike other chapters, the Cross Hags like to get their recruits from among those who show signs of psychological instability. These recruits have a greater chance of surviving their hypno-indoctrination than those who are considered sane. On the field of battle, the Cross Hags are known to be heard before they are seen. Even as their vox channels remain silent, the chill of their psychic laughter echoes in the minds of allies and enemies alike. It is for this reason that many Space Marine chapters outright refuse to fight alongside them, and in some cases even treat them as enemies. Outside of, as well as during battle, nonsensical riddles and jokes are freely shared within their ranks. Be it their superiors, the Chaos Gods, or even the Emperor of Man, no one is spared from being the butt of their jokes. They value cunning and guile more than any other quality, so much so that novices can only be inducted as full-fledged battle brothers if they can pull off a successful prank on their company captain. These pranks can range from the harmless to the macabre. In one such instance, the second company captain woke from hibernation only to find all his limbs sawed off and replaced with bionics, which would then punch him whenever he uttered the pronoun who. They also play such pranks on any allied chapters and Imperial Guard regiments who may suddenly discover in the heat of battle that instead of bullets, their guns keep expelling firecrackers that burst out obscenities. This makes them as much of a liability as an asset in battle. That is, if they show up at all. There are numerous reports of the Hags ignoring distress calls from Imperial planets as well as other Astartes chapters. They will, however, never ignore a distress call when it involves either Slaaneshi warbands or the Eldari. In case of the former, to completely eradicate the enemy, and in the latter, to covertly whisk them away to safety. In order to guarantee the safety of their Eldari allies, the Hags will not think twice even if it means killing Imperial citizens, despite preferring to complete their objectives without bloodshed. Such actions have not gone unnoticed by the Inquisition. However, Inquisitors who attempt to declare them excommunicate traitores have mysteriously gone missing, along with proof of the heresy. The Hags are a completely Codex-compliant chapter, or so they would have everyone believe. Any member can point out a detailed hierarchy, only for a second member to claim something else entirely. There can be no accurate guess to their numbers, but it has been observed that they field much larger numbers than other chapters. This is because the Hags utilize cores of servitor-piloted power armor that, despite being ineffective, serve to inflate their numbers and confuse their enemies. It is not the raw strength of the chapter that makes them a formidable foe. It is their use of unorthodox tactics. Unlike their parent chapter, the Hags rely on speed, stealth, and deception to outwit the enemy. A big part of what makes the Hags so effective is also their access to Eldari technology, namely Eldari holofields and psychic enhancing tech. All company captains have armors with inbuilt Athiri tech, whereas their librarians wield massive Eldari witchblades that enhance their fearsome psychic potential. The librarians also excel at spreading an aura of confusion over the battlefield to distort the cognition of their enemies. Examples of this were seen when they came across the Slaaneshi Chaos Warband Exquisite Host after answering a distress call from the maiden world of Aleiran. After being pushed back by the tide of demons and noise marines, the Hags changed tactics, and their librarians, in conjunction with the Eldari warlocks, cast an aura of deafening silence over the battlefield, which would only lift for brief moments of time whenever a Slaaneshi demon or an Exquisite Host marine was killed. So painful was this aura to the noise marines that they resorted to killing their own in order to stimulate their senses. In another instance, the Hags found themselves fighting the corner-lined warband Gorehounds on the planet of Ishtar 9. Rather than hide behind fortifications, the Hags chose to meet the Gorehounds on open field. The Gorehound berserkers cut through the mass of charging Hags only to discover that they'd been fighting servitors in power armor, while the main Hag forces bombed them all from the safety of their fortifications. However, such cunning cuts both ways. On the maiden world of Emily, the Hags answered a distress call from the planet's Imperial forces as they were being assaulted by the Eldari. Upon arriving, they supposedly cleared away the Eldari forces and left. Unfortunately, their departure was quickly followed by another Eldari attack, only for the Imperials to find that all their defenses were shut down, and their ammunition fired nothing but firecrackers that burst out expletives. Needless to say, every Imperial force on the planet was slaughtered, and records of the incident expunged. Wonder why?